Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday and Friday. In today's video, I'm so excited because today I'm going to be doing an all-day wear test. Today I'm going to be doing it on another concealer. I'm going to be doing it on the Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. So I ran to Sephora today, I picked this up. They're out of so many shades, so clearly this concealer is really popular. The claims on it are insane. I'll be going all over all of the claims and all that in the next clip. Quick rundown, it's supposed to be like a 24-hour more hydrating concealer. So if you guys want to see how this wears and all that throughout the day, definitely please keep watching. I'm going to show you guys how I apply it and all of that, give you guys my first impressions, and yeah. Also, before we get into the video, I want to thank Dossier for working me on a portion of today's video. It's not sponsored, but I do want to share these products with you. I've talked about them so much on my channel. If you don't know who Dossier is, they're a fragrance company. They make dupes of like $300 fragrances for a fraction of the cost. Their fragrances range from $29 to I think $49. The one I want to talk about is Woody Freesia, and this is a duplicate of the Giorgio Armani C fragrance, which I actually have. And when I tell you that they make some of the best duplicates, I'm not lying, because I've purchased fragrances just like this one where I had the original and then the duplicate, and I cannot tell the difference. They seriously wear the exact same, and I get the same amount of compliments on both, except one is a fraction of the cost. So I definitely recommend trying them out. And I even recommend, say you already have like a fragrance that you love but you don't want to use your real version up, get the Dossier one. That way it can be like your everyday scent, and then for special occasions when you just really want to use your luxury scent, you can save your luxury scent for then, but you could still smell your luxury scent all the time. Does that make sense? So this set is said to have top notes of freesia, black currant and strawberry, middle notes of rose, jasmine, and peach, and base notes of patchouli, vanilla, blonde woods, and musk. This is a really good fragrance for segueing into like the fall warmer months. It's just like a very fresh, warm scent. It's just a really nice, fresh scent. It's a good everyday scent. I'm gonna spray my Dossier. Gosh, it smells just like the sea. I'm not making this up. So I have a little bit of my sea left. I can pick up a little bit more of the peach notes in the Dossier one, but other than that, they smell so similar. That's insane. Anyway, so check out Dossier fragrances. I'll leave this one linked down below, as well as some of my other favorite fragrances from them. Try them out, you won't regret it. They're so affordable, and I do have a discount code with them. I'm gonna check with them to make sure it's still active, but if it is active, I'll leave it on the screen, and you can save, I believe, 10% off, which is amazing considering how affordable the fragrances already are. That's not what this video is about, so let's get into the actual video. Started. So I already started off by prepping my prep it. I used my Tula Skin Filter Primer. That's why my skin looks so even. So before I apply my foundation, I want to use the star of the show, the Teint Idole Ultra Longwear Concealer. The concealer we'll be reviewing. And I want to spot correct with it just to see how this will apply on bare skin, because a lot of times with my concealers, that's what I like to do. I don't always like to go in with like a full face of foundation. I like to spot conceal and like see how it blends out, see if it covers good, and see if it looks good on natural skin, or if it's one of those full coverage concealers that you have to use with a foundation because they're just like too thick. Before we go in with that though, I want to talk about the claims. First of all, it says that the highlights are that it is hydrating, it's long wearing, it's good for dark circles and fine lines and wrinkles, it's a full coverage, it's a matte finish, and then it says that the product is a hydrating, lightweight, full coverage concealer that brightens the look of dark circles and covers imperfections without creasing or caking. It says that it is a full coverage matte finish. So I'm so excited. And then I'm also excited because when I was swatching them in Sephora, the consistency is really thin, and I love a product that's gonna be thin but still give me good coverage, because then it's not gonna look cakey. So I have very high hopes for this concealer. And I also know that whenever I worked at LANCOME, the LANCOME Teint Idole foundation was like our top selling foundation. It was so good, and that had a very similar vibe of being a thin consistency, but it would give amazing coverage. It was a matte finish, but it didn't look thick or cakey like a lot of other matte foundations tend to be. So I'm really excited to try this. So I have mine in the shade 250 Bisque Warm. I know you can't see it because this is a very reflective packaging. Now when I was swatching them, I I think 260 would have been my perfect color, but this was like the only shade that they had pretty much in stock in like my color category. The rest were way too light and the rest were too dark. So I figured I'd give it a try. And then worst case scenario, this will end up being my winter shade if it's too light. I also love the packaging. It has a really nice weight to it too. And then it has like the typical little Lancome emblem up top. I have been loving Lancome products lately. I also really love the applicator. It's a nice jumbo one, but I like this because they did the jumbo applicator, but they didn't completely mimic Tarte Shape Tape. I feel like a lot of companies tend to do that. This, it still is like very flexible too. And the consistency is beautiful. Start by spot concealing just to see how it wears on your skin. See, this is definitely a little bit too light, but oh wow. So it's like a really thin, super thin formula, and it almost has like a powdery finish to it once you rub it in. Once I blend it out, it looks like there's literally no product there. As far as coverage go, it definitely seems to be more of a medium. Try blending it with a brush and see if that makes a difference. So like I have some redness there, and it kind of just like moved around. It didn't target it. Let me try it again. This side though, once it sets, it's like, it's set. It's not gonna stay like tacky or with like a slippery finish. Try this side. Okay, so yeah, around my nose, it just like, I can't target where I want the coverage, so I don't know if this will be an amazing spot concealer, but let's see how it applies underneath of the eyes, see the coverage that it gives, and see how it wears throughout the day. Before I do that though, I'm going to be applying my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I literally just picked this up today because they were having 20% off of it. All right, so we have our light wash of foundation. Now we'll go in with the concealer. So I really like this applicator. It really glides on the product without tugging on your eye. And I think since it's flexible, it really, like I said, just glides on even smoother than like almost any other concealer that I own. So I don't know how this is gonna set. Normally I like for my concealer to dry a little bit to give more coverage, but I'm gonna blend it out right away just because if it is one that dries down quick, I don't want it to look patchy. So what I'm gonna do is pick up some excess concealer on the back of my hand. I learned this tip from Mariss. That way your beauty blender already has some product on it, so when you go into the concealer, it's not gonna pick it up and remove that coverage. And I'm just gonna start pressing it. And then underneath my eye. So right off the bat, I know I would like this so much more if the color was a little bit darker, but we are making her work. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, well, at least on my monitor, like it looks so powdery, but almost in a good way. Like in the monitor, my skin looks very like smooth and airbrushed, or maybe it's just me, maybe it's just in my viewfinder, but it definitely, I feel like, looks really smoothing. Now on me personally, it's so different from any other concealer that I've used because it is, again, more of that like matte finish, which I normally opt for something a little bit more creamy. The finish of it almost reminds me of my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, the original matte one, because it is more of like a powdery matte texture. So it's definitely different. I don't think this is a concealer I would wear with no makeup just because of how matte it is. It also kind of reminds me of my MAC Studio Fix concealer. That one's super matte. I normally don't like to wear it on its own. I normally like to mix it with something more hydrating. But I'm going to set it with my powders as usual, finish up the rest of my makeup, and then check in with you guys. See how it wears throughout the day. See how I end up liking it. It is settling a little bit to here, like enhancing some of my texture too. But honestly, my skin has just been super full of texture lately, so I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. So I did like my blush and all of that, so I'm just gonna set my whole face with my Hourglass Veil powder. I feel like it's important to know what powders I'm using with it. That way you guys can have an idea. Another thing I forgot to mention, the concealer retails for $29. I tend to have more like normal to drier skin now, which is why I might feel like it's a little bit more matte and drier than what I'm used to. And then the other thing I want to mention is that the coverage on this is actually really nice. I think it really concealed my under eyes great and it doesn't feel heavy. I don't think that it necessarily looks heavy either. It's just the matte finish is what it's definitely gonna take for me to get used to, because I'm used to just using more creamy and hydrating things, especially ever since I moved to Connecticut. But another thing to keep in mind is that if you live in like a more humid climate, I feel like I would probably love this concealer if I lived in Florida, where like there's just way more humidity in the air. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because those are always really important factors, like determining if your skin type is similar to the person reviewing it. If it's not, you know, you could hear their perspective, but it might not really apply to your needs. And then also I feel like it's important to know what product and stuff they use with it, because that can all change it too. That's why this is like a first impressions all day wear test, because I remember when I tried out the Pat McGrath concealer, I initially like did not care for it, and then it ended up being one of my favorite concealers of all time. And it was just like figuring out how to apply it, what products work best with it, and so on and so forth. So now I'm going to be baking my under eyes using the Huda Beauty powder. This is the powder that I always use underneath of my eyes, so that's why I want to use it today. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and we'll be right back. All right, so I finished up the rest of my makeup and I feel like it works well with the foundation and everything that I'm using. And I do like the coverage of it. I definitely like, my first impressions on this is that I think it's gonna be more of a special occasion concealer, or like a concealer that I wear when I need to do like full glam and I want that full coverage, super matte finish. That's when I think that this concealer will come in handy. As far as like my day-to-day concealer, probably not. Just on my first thoughts. We'll see though how it wears throughout the day, see if like when my oils and stuff kick in, see how it looks. But yeah, I just don't see myself wearing a matte concealer like this every day. So for me personally, somebody who's not doing full glam all the time, and even in videos I normally don't go for something super matte and full coverage like this, then I probably wouldn't suggest it. But if you're the type of person that loves a good full coverage matte finish, or I feel like if you have more oily skin, this will look still very natural for like an everyday concealer, because the consistency is still so thin. It still gives amazing coverage. It just has that powdery matte finish that I feel like would work really amazing on very oily skin. Interested to see how this will wear and look throughout the day. And yeah, not to mention guys, this wasn't my best day to test out a concealer. I've been feeling so, this sounds bad, not like ugly, but just like my skin, I've really not been liking it. I've been getting like these, you can't even see it on camera, but like a bunch of texture here, dark spots. I have this random thing that popped up on my face today. My under eyes, I feel like look all crinkly lately. So it could also just be me. Anyways, I wanted to vent to you guys because I'm sure we all go through that too. So just wanted to be transparent right now. That way you guys can know where my head's at and know how I'm feeling. But I still have high hopes. And stay tuned if you want to hang out with me the rest of the day and see how this. So it is currently 2:07. So I'm going to try to keep it on for like 6 to 8 hours just because I feel like that's a normal day's worth of wear. And then we'll see how it holds up. Hi guys, so I'm filming on my iPhone right now. I've had the concealer on for an hour. And let me just tell you, I feel like I'm always so iffy when I first apply it because I'm surrounded by a bunch of studio lights and I can see every nook, cranny, and crevice possible. But when I'm no longer in my studio lights and I see my makeup, like, I feel like my under eyes look so smooth, but not heavy. Like, I'm definitely way more impressed with this concealer now, the way it's worn. It's a nice like satin matte finish. So sorry I'm not looking at you guys. I'm like looking at myself in the camera just to like really get the full glimpse of the concealer. But so far, I do really like how smooth this is. And it's also concealed my under eyes really, really nice. I'll check back in with you guys later to keep you posted on more. Hey guys, update. It's currently, let me show you guys the time. It's 6:19. I don't know if you guys can see that. And so far it's been on for 4 hours and I think I'm actually having like a good face makeup day. Like I feel like my under eyes look good, covered. They're not creasing at all. This evening we're getting together at Alex's grandmother's house and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of concerned because I'm like, dang, I have a full face of makeup and we're having like a family night. Like, I don't know, I hate feeling like too caked up What is going on with my hair? Disregard that. Anyways, I was like, is my face gonna look like too dramatic and heavy? But this just looks so lightweight, but yeah, it still covers everything. I'm kind of loving it. So far 10 out of 10. I don't know why I was so unsure at first, but I'm gonna give you guys like a final update probably once we get back from Alex's grandma's house. That'll probably be closer to like 10 o'clock. So it would have been on for about 8 hours, but for a 4-hour wear, I'm really enjoying it. It looks really good. And it's still like super smooth. It is my final check-in and it is currently literally 10:56 p.m. I have had my makeup on for a complete of 9 hours and it looks like this. Definitely a little bit dewy and greasy, which I do not mind. All in all though, still very intact, especially my under eye area, which I am so impressed with. Like you guys can see, I'm gonna bring you guys super close. My under eye area has stayed intact. It hasn't creased or like bunched up. The only place where it has gotten a little bit weird is around my nose here, which I pointed out earlier where it was like tending to bunch up. Now you can see more of my redness peeking through. But other than that, it has worn really nice. Even like how I applied it down my nose looks relatively good. A lot of times the concealer will move in certain spots and then you can see patches of it that are still really pigmented and other parts where it's smeared. But this, it's worn evenly. It's also faded really evenly, which I'm not mad at. Like, I feel like the concealer has worn so good that it has made my favorite foundation look bad. Like, I feel like my makeup in this area just looks crazy. But like, even on my forehead where I blended it out, it looks really even. I mean, granted, I do have this breakout here, which I hope is not from that concealer. Also, why does my forehead do this? Okay. But yeah, all in all, I am thoroughly impressed with how this concealer has worn. I'm not gonna lie though, when I first put this concealer on, when I saw how like matte it was, I was so concerned because I normally don't use super matte concealers. I normally like to go for like a more hydrating one. However, I have found that my more hydrating ones tend to not wear as nice throughout the day. And this one, although it was more of like a matte powdery finish at first, it really has held up really nice. Again, my makeup doesn't look the best after 9 hours, but for a 9-hour wear, this does not look too bad. I'm excited to try this concealer again out some more. I definitely want to wear it again tomorrow. I have like a couple clients and stuff in the morning, and normally whenever I'm gonna do makeup appointments, I want something like lightweight, but that will like cover up my under eye darkness and all that. So I'm curious to see how it'll wear like on bare skin for a longer period of time. So yeah. All in all, my thoughts on this have definitely changed from when I first applied it. I really, really like it, but I definitely want to play with it some more. It's $29, so it's definitely an investment, but I do like how different it is from other concealers because you're getting that full coverage, but it is a thin consistency. It's a very powdery matte finish at first, but as you can see, as it wears throughout the day, you definitely are gonna for sure get that glow. So I'm honestly on the fence because yeah, I'm telling you, when I first tried it, I wasn't sure, but I do feel like as it has worn, I feel like it could work for a lot of skin types. So yeah, that's my thought. Hey guys, it is the next day and I figured that while I was editing this video, I might as well jump on here and give you guys an update. I know a couple clips ago, I mentioned how I had clients today and how I normally like to wear my concealer on bare skin. So that's exactly what I did today with the concealer. And this is after 8 hours of wear. I applied my concealer at 8:30 and it is currently 4:20. So it's been on for almost a complete 8 hours and I really like how it has worn. The only issue again is around my nose. It was like bunching up a little bit and looking weird, but underneath of the eye, it still looks really smooth. And my biggest thing that I'm kind of blown away by is the fact that it's so full coverage and it is more of a matte finish, but as your oils break through, it kind of like melts in. But because it's more of that matte finish at first, I feel like it will still wear evenly, and as your oils break through, it's not going to break it up so quickly and easily. And then I also am blown away by the fact that it's a full coverage, but since it has that thin consistency, on bare skin, you can't see where the concealer is or where the concealer ends, and then bare skin, like normally you'll have that line. Even on the forehead, normally you can see that line of where the concealer ends and the bare skin starts. But since it's that thin consistency, it stays like really melted and even and smooth throughout. So I am actually thoroughly impressed with this product. I definitely want to continue to wear it more, see what products work best with it and all of that. But let me just tell you guys the turnaround and the thoughts that I had on this concealer, because like I mentioned earlier, When I first tried it out, I was kind of like, did I save my Sephora receipt? But as my oils and stuff break through, I find that it wears really nice. So I'll keep you guys posted in more videos on like how I end up liking it, if I grab for it a lot or not. I wanted to give you guys one final update and give you guys like another option of how it would look on bare skin. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Consider hitting that subscribe button, and I love you guys. I pray you all have a great day and weekend, and I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys next time.